Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Business English Desk. I'm Laura.
And I'm Jamie. Okay, Laura, I have a question for you, and I want you to be honest.
That's a slightly worrying way to start.
No, it's fine. It's a good question. Here it is. How many English idioms do you think you know?
Oh, that's hard to say. Maybe a few hundred? I use them without even thinking about them at this point.
Right, that's exactly my point. You use them without thinking. Most fluent English speakers do. But here's the thing that I find fascinating, and honestly, a little strange.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, some of the most common English idioms, the ones that native speakers use every single day, make absolutely zero sense in any other language. Like if you translate them word for word into Arabic or Urdu or Spanish or French, you get complete nonsense.
That's true, actually. I've never really thought about that.
And it gets better, because most people who use these idioms, including native speakers, have no idea where they came from. The origins are completely bizarre. We're talking about soldiers biting actual bullets. We're talking about hiding beans. Actual beans.
When you say it like that, it does sound a little strange.
It sounds very strange, and that's exactly what we're exploring today. 4 of the most famous, untranslatable English idioms, where they come from, what they actually mean, and how to use them so naturally that even native speakers won't believe you learned them from a YouTube channel.
And I promise you, by the end of this episode, these 4 idioms will feel like yours. Not like phrases you memorized, like expressions you actually own.
Which, if you think about it, is a pretty big deal, because these are the expressions that make English feel alive. Not textbook English, real English, the kind people actually speak.
So let's get into it. The first one might be the most poetic idiom in the English language. And Jamie, I know you have feelings about this one.
I have very strong feelings about this one. Very strong.
So the other day, I was talking to a friend, and she said something that made me smile. She said, "Oh, I clean my car once in a blue moon." And I thought, yes, that is exactly the right way to use that expression.
Because her car was probably absolutely filthy.
I didn't ask, but the point is, once in a blue moon felt completely natural in that sentence. It just fit.
And that's because it's one of those expressions that everyone understands immediately, even the first time they hear it. Something about it just makes sense.
It does. So let's talk about what it actually means. Once in a blue moon means very rarely, almost never. It describes something that happens, but not often, not regularly, just occasionally, and usually unexpectedly.
Like me cooking dinner.
Is that a real example from your life?
It is a painfully real example from my life. My housemates would say, "Jamie cooked yesterday. Once in a blue moon, that man touches a pan."
Okay, so that is a perfect example, actually. Something that happens, but so rarely that people notice when it does.
They noticed. They took a photo. I was embarrassed.
Okay, so now let's talk about where this expression actually comes from, because this is the part I love.
Yes, this is where it gets genuinely interesting. So, blue moon in astronomy refers to a real thing. When you have 2 full moons in one calendar month, the second one is called a blue moon.
And that happens
About once every 2 to 3 years, so it's not impossible, but it is uncommon. And because it was so rare, people started using it as a way to describe things that barely happen. Once in a blue moon became shorthand for "this almost never occurs."
and the moon isn't actually blue.
Correct. Completely normal moon, just a second one that month, which honestly is still pretty exciting if you're into astronomy.
Are you into astronomy?
I Googled it 5 minutes ago to prepare for this. Does that count?
That absolutely does not count. Okay, so let's talk about how to use this in real conversations, because the meaning is simple, but the usage has a few nuances worth knowing.
Right. So first, once in a blue moon works best when you're talking about something that you do or something that happens, not about something that has never happened. There's a difference.
That's a really important distinction. If something has never happened at all, you wouldn't say once in a blue moon. You'd say never or not once. But if it happens just very rarely, that's your moment to use this expression.
For example, I eat fast food once in a blue moon, meaning I do eat it just almost never.
Or, she calls her old school friends once in a blue moon. She does call them, just not very often.
Or, my personal favorite, once in a blue moon, Jamie does the dishes without being asked. True story, it happened once in 2019.
Okay, we're putting that in the record. Okay, now let's talk about a very common mistake learners make with this expression, because it's subtle, but it matters.
Ooh, yes, the mistake. I've made this one myself, so I feel qualified to explain it.
Go for it.
So the mistake is using once in a blue moon for things that happen on a fixed schedule. Like, I visit my parents once in a blue moon, every Sunday.
Yes, that doesn't work because if it's every Sunday, it's not rare at all. Once in a blue moon needs to describe genuine rarity, something unpredictable, something that people surprised when it happens.
Not your Sunday routine.
Definitely not your Sunday routine. The other mistake is using it for something you've never done. Like, I've been to Paris once in a blue moon. If you've never been to Paris, that sentence doesn't work. You just say, I've never been to Paris.
Save once in a blue moon for the things that technically do happen, just almost never.
Exactly. Okay, before we move on, let's do a quick quiz.
Right. I'm going to give you 3 sentences, and I want you to think about which one uses once in a blue moon correctly. Ready? Sentence 1. I drink coffee once in a blue moon, every single morning. Sentence 2. I've seen him cry once in a blue moon. It almost never happens. Sentence 3. Once in a blue moon, I've never tried sushi.
Take a moment. Think about it.
Okay, the answer is sentence 2. I've seen him cry once in a blue moon. It almost never happens. That's the correct one.
Sentence 1 fails because every morning contradicts rare. Sentence 3 fails because never tried means it hasn't happened, so once in a blue moon doesn't fit. Only sentence 2 describes something real that happens very rarely.
And honestly, seeing someone cry once in a blue moon is probably a good sign. It means things are generally okay.
That is a surprisingly optimistic reading of that sentence.
I'm an optimist. Once in a blue moon.
Okay, so this one genuinely confused me the first time I heard it, because I heard it in a very serious context. My colleague walked in and said to someone, "Don't spill the beans before the meeting." And I thought, what beans? Why are we talking about beans? This is an office.
How long did it take you to figure out what she meant?
About 3 days. And I was too embarrassed to ask, so I just nodded very confidently.
Classic Jamie.
Classic Jamie, yes.
So, spill the beans means to reveal a secret, to accidentally or sometimes deliberately share information that wasn't supposed to stay private. When someone spills the beans, they've told people something that wasn't meant to be told yet.
Like, if there's a surprise party for someone at work and one person accidentally tells them about it beforehand, that person spilled the beans.
Exactly. Or if a company is planning to announce something big and an employee tells people before the official announcement, they spilled the beans.
It works for big things and small things. Secrets of all sizes.
All sizes of secrets.
Now, the origin of this one is genuinely debated. There are a few theories. But the most interesting one, and the one most people find memorable, goes back to ancient Greece.
Ancient Greece and their beans.
Ancient Greece and their beans. So apparently in ancient Greek voting systems, people would vote using beans. White beans meant yes, black beans meant no, and the results were supposed to be secret until everyone had voted.
So if someone accidentally knocked over the jar of beans before the count was done, the secret was out. The beans were spilled, and everyone could see the results early.
That is genuinely fascinating, and also slightly chaotic as a voting system.
Ancient democracy was doing its best.
It really was. Okay, so in terms of usage, spill the beans feels casual and conversational. You'd use it between colleagues, with friends, in relaxed workplace situations.
You probably wouldn't use it in a very formal business email, but in conversation, in team chats, in a relaxed meeting, it fits perfectly.
You probably wouldn't write to your CEO, "Please do not spill the beans regarding our Q4 projections."
Although, imagine if you did.
It would be memorable, I'll give it that, but probably not in the way you want.
So in professional but relaxed contexts, who spilled the beans about the office party? Don't spill the beans before we make the announcement. Okay, I'll spill the beans. We're getting a new team member.
That last one is the nice version, spilling the beans that are actually good news.
Which is completely valid. Spilling the beans can be about a surprise or secret of any kind, not just negative ones.
Now, the common mistake with this one, and I've seen this a lot, is people saying spill the bean, singular.
Yes, it's always beans, plural. Spill the bean sounds wrong to a native speaker's ear immediately. The expression only works with the plural.
One bean spilled is just a mess. Many beans spilled is a secret revealed.
That is actually a good way to remember it.
I have my moments.
The other mistake is using it in very formal writing. In an email to a client or in an official report, spill the beans sounds too casual. In those contexts, you'd say something like disclose the information or reveal the details.
Register awareness is everything with idioms. The meaning is right, but the context has to match.
Which is honestly the hardest part about idioms in general.
It is. Okay, quiz time for expression 2.
Simple scenario. Your team has been planning a surprise farewell party for a colleague who's leaving next week. You're in the kitchen, and another colleague asks, "Hey, why has everyone been so secretive this week?" What do you say?
Take a moment. Think about how you'd respond using spill the beans.
One good option would be, "I can't spill the beans just yet, but you'll find out on Friday." That's natural, that's casual, and that fits the situation perfectly.
It keeps the secret while also letting the person know that there is something going on, which is honestly a little bit mean, but very human.
Very human, yes. We love to hint at secrets we're not allowed to share.
We really do.
Okay, so this third one is one I use probably every week. And I think it's one of those expressions that learners hear often, but sometimes aren't sure exactly how to use in a natural way.
Right, because on the surface, it sounds strange. Under the weather. Under it? Like physically beneath it?
Which, of course, makes no literal sense. We're always under the weather, technically. The sky is above us, the weather is up there.
Unless you're under a very tall mountain.
Unless you're on a very tall mountain. But figuratively, under the weather means feeling unwell. Not seriously ill necessarily, just not feeling great. A bit tired, a bit off, maybe a slight headache or a cold coming on.
It's the gentle way of saying, I don't feel well. It doesn't sound dramatic, it doesn't sound serious, it's just, I'm a little under the weather today.
And that softness is actually really useful, especially in professional contexts. If you tell your manager, I'm under the weather today, it communicates that you're not at your best without making it sound like a medical emergency.
It's the polite way, professional way to say, I feel terrible and I want to go home and lie down and watch television.
Essentially, yes. Now, the origin of this one is genuinely nautical. It comes from sailing.
Of course it does. So many English idioms come from sailing. The English really loved being at sea.
They really did. So when sailors got seasick or felt unwell on a ship, they would go below deck. Below the deck, they were sheltered from the weather above, the wind, the rain, the cold. So being under the weather literally meant being below the deck because you were too sick to stand up top.
That is actually such a vivid origin. You can picture it, this poor sailor, completely green, stumbling down below because the waves are doing terrible things to his stomach.
Exactly. And over time, that image became an idiom for anyone feeling unwell, not just seasick sailors. Anyone.
Which is good because most of us are not on ships.
Most of us know.
Okay, so in terms of usage, under the weather fits casual conversation and professional contexts equally. It's one of those idioms that works almost everywhere.
I'm a bit under the weather today, so I might leave early if that's okay.
She's been under the weather all week. I think she has a cold.
He seemed a bit under the weather in the meeting. Did you notice?
All of those sound completely natural. Now, the mistake that learners sometimes make is using it for serious illness. If someone is in the hospital or has a serious diagnosis, under the weather is far too mild.
Right. Under the weather is for minor, temporary things. A cold, a headache, low energy, a bad day physically. Not for anything serious.
If you tell someone, my grandfather has been under the weather when he's actually very seriously ill, that sounds like you're downplaying something important. The expression sets a level of severity, and that level is mildly unwell.
Use it for small things, save stronger language for serious things.
Exactly. The other mistake is saying, I feel under the weather versus I'm under the weather. Both actually work, but I'm under the weather sounds slightly more natural to most native speakers.
Small difference, but worth knowing.
Okay, quiz time. I'm going to give you a situation. Your colleague messages you on a Monday morning and says, hey, I don't think I can make the 9 a.m. call today. I've had a rough night. How do you respond using today's expression?
Take a moment, think about it.
A natural response would be, no worries at all. Are you under the weather? Let me know if you need anything. Simple, warm, natural.
It shows you understood, you're not alarmed, and you're being kind without making a big deal of it.
Which is exactly what under the weather allows you to do. It's a gentle expression for gentle situations.
Unlike bite the bullet, which is the complete opposite of gentle.
Which is exactly what we're doing next.
Okay, this is my favorite one today because the origin of this expression is genuinely dramatic, like historically dramatic.
It really is. Before we get to the meaning, let's start with where this expression comes from, because once you know, you will never forget it. So, back in the days before modern medicine, we're talking 18th, 19th century, when soldiers were injured on the battlefield and they needed surgery, they often had no anesthesia, no painkillers, nothing to numb the pain.
Which is genuinely awful to think about.
It really is. So surgeons would give soldiers a bullet to bite down on, literally a lead bullet, so that they could endure the pain of the procedure without screaming.
And biting down hard on something actually does help manage pain signals in the body. It gives you something physical to focus on.
So bite the bullet became a way to describe doing something that is painful or deeply unpleasant, but necessary. Something you'd rather avoid, but you can't. So you just do it. You endure it. You get through it.
And the biting is important. It implies active endurance. You're not just suffering passively. You're gritting your teeth, making a decision, and pushing through.
It's a very determined expression. There's a kind of courage in it.
There is, and that's what makes it so useful. When someone says, I just had to bite the bullet, you understand immediately that it was hard, that they didn't want to do it, but they did it anyway. And there's something almost admirable about it.
Right. It's not complaining. It's not, oh, poor me, I had to do this hard thing. It's, yeah, it was difficult. I did it anyway.
Exactly. So in real usage, I've been putting off this difficult conversation with my manager for weeks. I just need to bite the bullet and have it.
The renovation is going to be expensive and inconvenient, but we're just going to bite the bullet and get it done.
I hate going to the dentist, but I bit the bullet and booked an appointment.
That last one is very relatable. The dentist is a place where biting bullets would actually be useful.
Please don't bite actual things at the dentist.
Sound advice.
Okay, so the nuances of this expression. Bite the bullet is specifically for things that are unpleasant but necessary, not just difficult, not just scary, but something you've been avoiding that you know you have to do.
The avoidance is key. If you haven't been putting something off, if you just did a hard thing without hesitation, bite the bullet doesn't quite fit. It carries that sense of, okay, I've been dreading this, I've been putting it off, but it has to happen. Fine, let's go.
And the mistake some learners make is using it for ongoing difficult situations, like, I bite the bullet at my job every day. That doesn't quite work because bite the bullet describes a specific moment of decision and action, not a continuous state.
It's a one-time thing, or at least a specific moment thing. You bite the bullet once. You do the thing, and then it's done.
The other mistake is using it for things that are just mildly inconvenient, like I bit the bullet and chose the salad instead of the fries.
That is not a bullet-biting situation. That's just lunch.
Reserve it for things that genuinely required courage or endurance. It's a strong expression. Use it for strong moments.
Okay, last quiz of the segments. Scenario: you have a colleague who has been having a conflict with a client for 2 months. She's been avoiding calling them directly. She finally sends you a message saying, "Okay, I'm calling them today. Enough is enough." How would you respond using today's expression?
Take a moment.
A natural response would be, "Good for you. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and sort things out directly. You've got this."
That response is warm. It acknowledges that the call will be hard, but it also validates her decision and gives her encouragement.
And it sounds completely natural, not textbook, not rehearsed, just real.
That's the goal with every expression we cover here. Not memorization, ownership.
Okay, so let's put all 4 expressions together. Jamie and I are going to do a short role play. Your job is to listen closely and try to spot all 4 idioms as they come up. Ready?
Ready? Okay, so the scenario is, it's Monday morning at the office. I haven't seen Laura since last week.
Hey, Jamie, how was your weekend? You look a little tired.
Yeah, I'm a bit under the weather, honestly. I think I'm getting a cold. Nothing serious, just not at 100%.
Oh no, do you want some tea? I was just making some.
Yes, please. Actually, speaking of the weekend, you know the team lunch they've been planning for next Friday?
The one for Priya's birthday? Yes, I helped organize it. Why?
Well, I accidentally mentioned it to her on Saturday. I didn't mean to, it just came out.
Jamie, you spilled the beans?
I know. I'm sorry. I was under the weather and not thinking clearly, and she asked me what I was doing Friday, and it came out.
Okay, it's fine. She'll still enjoy it. What did she say?
She pretended she hadn't heard anything, which is very kind of her. She's a good person.
She really is. Okay, listen, we need to tell the rest of the team that she knows now. I know it's awkward, but we just have to bite the bullet and let everyone know so they're not acting suspiciously around her.
You're right. I'll send a message now. Better to just deal with it.
It'll be fine. And honestly, the whole team gets together for something like this once in a blue moon. She's going to love it regardless.
You're right, and I'll buy her an extra nice gift to make up for it.
That's the spirit. Okay, so did you catch all 4?
Let's go through them quickly. Under the weather came up twice, actually. First when Jamie said he was feeling unwell, then again as an excuse for spilling the beans.
A very convenient excuse that was entirely true, I should add. Spill the beans when Jamie revealed the surprise lunch, bite the bullet when Laura said they needed to just tell the team directly, and once in a blue moon when she pointed out how rarely the whole team gets together like this.
All 4 in one completely natural Monday morning conversation.
That's the goal. These aren't special occasion words, they're everyday words. They belong in real conversation. Okay, I want to go back to one line from the role play, because there was a moment that I think a lot of people might have just let go past, but it's actually doing something quite clever.
Which line?
The line where Laura said, "We just have to bite the bullet and let everyone know so they're not acting suspiciously around her."
Okay, what's the catch?
So the obvious reading of bite the bullet there is just do the hard thing, which is correct, but notice what makes this particular use slightly more advanced. She's not just saying it'll be unpleasant, she's giving a reason why it's necessary right now, so they're not acting suspiciously. There's a consequence attached.
Right, and that's how fluent speakers tend to use bite the bullet. Not just we have to do it, but we have to do it because if we don't, something worse happens.
The expression becomes stronger when it's connected to a consequence. I need to bite the bullet and have that conversation because the longer I wait, the worse it gets.
That structure, bite the bullet, plus a reason or consequence, is the difference between using the idiom correctly and using it the way a native speaker would.
And that small difference is what makes people think, wow, this person really knows English. Not just what the words mean, but how they work inside a full thought.
That's the catch. That's the detail that most people miss. Now, you won't. Before we give you today's challenge, I want to say something that I think is worth sitting with for a moment.
Go ahead.
Every single expression we covered today came from real life. Sailors on ships, soldiers in battle, ancient Greeks voting with beans, people watching the sky. These weren't invented by textbooks. They were invented by people trying to describe something real.
And that's what makes them stick. When you learn an idiom with its story, you're not just memorizing words. You're connecting to something that has survived hundreds of years because it captured a feeling that never gets old.
The feeling of something that almost never happens. The feeling of a secret escaping. The feeling of not being okay. The feeling of doing the hard thing even when you'd rather not.
Those feelings are in every language, but these English words found a very specific, very human way to say them, and now those words belong to you too.
Okay, today's challenge. And I want you to actually do this one, not just think about it.
Today, we want you to use one of these 4 expressions in a real conversation. A message, a call, a chat with someone, anything counts.
Here's a simple way in. If anyone asks you how you're doing today, tell them you're a little under the weather, even if you're not, just to practice the phrase. See how it feels in your mouth. See how the other person responds.
Or, if you have something you've been avoiding doing, tell someone today that you're going to bite the bullet and do it. Even if you send one message, even if it's just to yourself.
The goal is not a perfect sentence. The goal is a real one. One expression, one real moment. That's it.
And if you do it, tell us in the comments. We genuinely love reading those.
That is everything for today's episode. 4 idioms that cannot be translated, but can absolutely be owned.
Once in a blue moon, spill the beans, under the weather, bite the bullet. You've got them.
And here's something to look forward to. In our next episode, we're going into a set of expressions that native speakers use when things go wrong, and I mean spectacularly wrong.
These are the expressions you hear in moments of crisis or chaos, or when someone makes a decision that everyone can see is going to end badly.
You'll want to know these. Trust us.
Subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you don't miss it.
We'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.
And remember, once in a blue moon, do something that scares you. That's where the good stuff is.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.